All right, we are back. It is basically Monday, episode 36. 36. We're almost that age.
Oh,
So old.
no.
Yep,
No.
it's true.
Don't say it. Don't say it out loud.
Welcome to Bad Knees, baby.
Yeah,
Anyway,
my back is broken right now as we speak. Like I
see,
didn't even do anything crazy, but
see,
I
it's
like
true.
every time I get out of this chair, it's a struggle.
Yep, that's what old age and experience get you. Physical ailments.
Yeah. It's like, oh shit. Is it gonna be like this forever now? Or is
Yep,
it gonna go back?
yes,
Like,
this is
nope,
how it is.
this is just my life now. No, I'm just kidding. This better go back to normal.
I mean, if you don't do anything about it, it'll probably stay like that.
I mean, it was like fine for like days, and then suddenly today it's just like maybe not days, like 2 days it was fine. Or what's today? No,
Uh,
I guess.
Wednesday.
Yeah, no, like 2 days. Like Monday and Tuesday, my back was good, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday it was injured, and then today it's like kind of like acting up again. Which I mean, yeah, I've been doing like a ton today. I got like how many steps? I've been wearing my watch. I got 6,000 steps. That's like unheard of for me. Like usually, do you know you guys have a watch? Do you ever know how
Mm-hmm.
many steps you ever do?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, like usually I never like go over like 2,000 steps a week. I mean, maybe not like now, but like maybe like a year ago before Raina was born. Yeah, like I wasn't going nowhere nearly as much, but
Yeah, I had
yeah,
86. I had
6,000.
8,600 steps today.
Oh my God.
But we were out.
Wow.
Well, I was outside with Milo a lot, so we were playing.
Dang, you must
So,
have been going like crazy. Because I
um,
was like literally
yeah,
going all around this place, like walking around doing trying to fix this like restaurant speakers or whatever, and I was going upstairs all around this like huge restaurant like for like I want to say like 3 hours,
apparently
and
that's
you
not even
still
that
got
much.
me.
That's not even that much. Like you're supposed to have like 10,000 a day. I heard, but yeah,
Yeah, that's what they say. I feel like that's ridiculous. 10,000 a day. I
I
mean,
could
I
do
get
that.
it, but like,
I think I could if I really like focused on it. But yeah, it's hard if you have a sedentary job like anything on the computer, or if that's where you spend a lot of your time. Then yeah, it's gonna be really tough.
yeah,
But
especially.
speaking of older age, like that's one of the things that I've actually been walking and getting up more and not sitting on the couch as much because my back bothers me when I sit too long like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
and it
same.
definitely helps. Like yeah, I've been stretching and stuff, and the more I walk around, like today I had basically no back pain, which is unheard of because it's just been something that's chronic for like the last 5 years. So yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I did a lot of walking and now I have back pain.
You walked and then your back hurt.
But actually, no, that's not supposed to happen. But usually it's like how you say, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just doing a lot of sitting in my office chair or like on the couch and like getting up feels good. But ever since I injured it, once you injure it, you gotta rest it. And that's where I've been struggling.
Gotta rest. Get your rest.
Too much to do.
Yeah, so I actually had a couple of things that I wanted to wanted to talk about today. Well, not talk about, but just like things that are going on in my life that were I thought were interesting. The first one, obviously, I have a kid, so like I feel like the kid is always going to be one of those things. But I think I've told you guys we take Mila to gymnastics once a week, and it's on Tuesdays. So right before we do these podcasts, I usually have just gotten back from the gymnastics the day before, and it it really never ceases to amaze me because like obviously we're not around other people and their kids that often other than like gymnastics but it really never ceases to amaze me like how people come to places like like interactive things with their kids like gymnastics and like don't interact at all like it's pretty crazy actually.
I would have thought that that's how you would like prefer to be. Like what?
No,
Like you mean they don't interact with like other parents or
no,
like
no, no,
kids or
like
whatever?
with their own kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
with their own kid?
Yeah, I don't expect them to interact with me, but like, yes. So this is a 2-year-old's class, right? So obviously 2-year-olds, most 2-year-olds are going to be like, short attention spans, have a hard time listening. So the instructor is like purposely telling the parents because it keeps happening, like make sure you keep your kid on track and like try to get them to do the activity on their own and like this is what you should do. And like there are children around us just running in complete circles. One of them is jumping on a trampoline. We're not even doing anything with the trampoline. He just walked over there by himself. And the parent is behind him watching watching him jump on the trampoline and just he's just I shit you not, this is what he said. All right, let's get off the trampoline. All right. And the kid's just completely ignoring him. to the to the point where the instructor had to pull the kid off the trampoline himself while the parent is standing there watching. And then the instructor had to literally roll the trampoline to the other side of the room standing up so that the kid couldn't get to it. Then the most egregious thing of all that happened while we were there yesterday, a kid was a kid was doing it, I think it was the trampoline again, I'm not sure. It was some activity they were doing that they again weren't supposed to be doing. And the parent was just again watching the kid. This is a different parent this time, saying, little Jimmy or whatever the fuck, 'cause I don't know what his name was, but he's like, get down from there, get down from there. And then finally, I'm so glad I didn't see this happen because I would have been like, what? But I was with Mila at a different activity, and this is happening while where Danielle is. And the woman who is letting this kid do this turns to Danielle and says, "Can you go get him?" Like, legitimately asked Danielle to pick her kid up and like take him off the activity because she
Like,
like
was she like,
couldn't reach. I guess she was like overweight and had mobility issues. So, but again, like,
like, can you go get him?
but again, that's a
Whoa.
like yeah, then I question why you came there if you can't like corral your kid at all. So yeah, it's just a wild world that other parents are living in, and I just there's it's just interesting to me because I don't get to see it often, other than that one like day of the week. So then the whole ride home, Danielle and I are talking about like how crazy it is that other people come there and just like don't even give a shit. Like the week before, there was a guy that was like listening. He had AirPods in, listening to the scores of a sports game. Like, and he wasn't paying attention at all. And the kid was just running rampant. Like he didn't care. So
Wow.
it's just interesting how like little care people have for their for their
Dude,
children when they're in public
you
places.
said the guy was just like, "Can you get off the trampoline now? You
Yeah.
gotta get off the trampoline. You
Yeah,
gotta
come
get like
on.
that's it,
And
like
it's
that's
like,
it, like
yeah, come
what?"
on. We gotta go. And this is a big guy. Like you can tell he works out pretty consistently. He's at least 6'2". Like this is not a guy who's like immobile. He's just standing next to the kid on the trampoline and just watching it happen. And I'm just like, what? What? Like how?
Yeah, I don't
So,
know.
so yeah, that was just something I
Yeah,
thought
like
was
why?
interesting.
So like, is the correct thing to do there is just like take your kid off the trampoline?
Um, yeah, that's a good question. So, like, my opinion is no. Like, I think there's some course correction that has to happen. But like, if you're at the point with your kid where your kid's literally not listening, and like the kid turns their back to you, and that's what happened with him. Like, the kid literally just turned around, like, so that he couldn't see him, and the guy just stood behind him, just continuously
Like,
asking.
hey,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
hey.
exactly.
Do either of you have the expectation that if your child is acting up, that another adult will put their hands on them?
No.
Like, I assume that's not okay.
That's not my expectation. No. Well,
No, I
so
wouldn't expect that.
it depends on the setting. So like in a gymnastics class, I would say generally speaking, no, but in the event that they could hurt themselves and you have shown that you don't care, like I think it was appropriate for in that case for the gymnastics teacher to pull them off because they can hurt themselves and then they are liable because the parent wasn't doing their job. So like in that case, yeah, like as the instructor, like I wouldn't expect another parent to do that, but I would expect an instructor to do that because like they have to. If you're not going to save your kid from their own stupidity, then someone has to. So yeah, I think it just depends.
So I'm guessing Mila's just not like that. Like, how is she
No.
not like that? Like, what do you do to make that not happen? Or did you just get really
Yeah,
lucky and she's just like more chill?
yeah, I do not believe it's luck, and that's what I was gonna say. Is like I think there has to be other things that are happening at home that like that set up you being able to correct in class, right? So like when Mila's a 2-year-old too, like she has moments of short attention span, she wants to go do stuff, but because we correct all the time, or like we talk to her all the time, when we say, hey, like we need to listen to the instructor now, she corrects herself because she knows how to do that. But other kids have, you can see it like when other kids are having that happen with them, and the parent is taking this time to correct, you can tell this is probably one of the first times, if ever, the kid is ever getting like correction. So they just don't listen, or there's just no follow through of the correction. So like if they're telling them, hey, you need to do this, and the kid just says, if the kid with their action says fuck you, right, because they're just not listening, they just let them do it, right? And you can tell that that's what they've gotten away with because that's what the kid relies on. They're just like, nope, I'm just not going to listen to you, and you're not going to stop me, so why should I bother?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that makes complete sense. Like,
yeah. So yeah, you can definitely tell that like a lot of the and yeah, I mean I don't know what they're getting at home obviously, but that's the things that Danielle and I talk about a lot is like I wonder what the conversations are or like what the approach is with them when they're at home because the way that they seem to act um, in class is as if the parent is not someone whose opinion that they value at all. It's just more like everything they say seems to be a suggestion, not necessarily because it's in their best interest or because they understand why they're asking them. It's just like, hey, you're talking, but that's nice. I'm on the trampoline now. Like I'm gonna do this. Yeah.
so what is yeah? So how do you do it? So like, what do you do if your kid turns your back on the trampoline, and like,
Yeah,
at what point? So you
at
just
that
grab them
point,
off at that point,
yeah,
or
at
like
that point I would pull them off, but I would
body
all
slam them to the ground, or
yeah, I mean, I personally would pull them off, but then I would also like explain to them why like you need to listen in class. Like this is not just because I told you to do this. This is because it's in your best interest. If you want to continue to do this, and you need to be safe, number one, and you need to respect the time of everybody else in the class. You can't just be on the trampoline jumping forever, like because this isn't for just you. And if you can't do those things, if you refuse, that's okay. You can choose not to do them, but then the consequence is that you're not in gymnastics anymore. It's just that simple. Like so,
so
like
that's how you deal with like her regularly. Like when something comes up,
yes,
you just like sit there and explain it.
yeah, yeah. But I've noticed that normally that like later in the last few months, it's turned into instead of me explaining a lot of times, it turns into her asking. Like because she expects to know why certain things are the way they are because she's used to getting an explanation. So now a lot of times I don't have to do as much correction. I just have to say like this is what it is, and but I still try to give it an explanation because as a kid I hated being told what to do without explanation because like that as a kid that doesn't feel good. You're just like, well, why do I have to do this? At least that's how I thought about it. So
Yeah.
it seems to help to
Yeah.
like tell like treat them like Buddha has always said like treat them like a person like they're capable of understanding, but if you treat them like a kid who can't understand, they're going to give you exactly that. But yeah, so that's a good question actually, because Guna said, do either one of you expect another kid, another parent to like correct your kid if they're acting up? So I think I said no. Valero, would you expect that?
I mean, like, if they're like going crazy or like bothering the parent in like some way or like messing their thing up, then
Mm,
like if the parent has to like do something to like stop that or like whatever, I guess I wouldn't like mind. Like, obviously, as long as they didn't like do something crazy or like overreact or anything. But
But
like, yeah,
have
I
you
wouldn't like
guys
freak out if like another parent like came and like pulled my kid off the trampoline if like obviously what I was trying to do wasn't working.
how do you guys prepare them for situations like that? Like, do you explain that, hey, sometimes the adult in charge might like pick you up, or does it just like I don't know. I'm just kind of I'm wondering because I don't know. I'm confused as to how that works.
prepare them for another adult intervening, like with them.
Yeah, like getting in their personal space the same way that like their parents do, but it's not their parent. It's just like another random adult. Because I know back in the day it was
Yeah.
like, oh, stranger danger. I'm assuming it's still the same thing.
Yeah, I very much operate on stranger danger.
But
Because I'm also expecting Mila to behave herself in a certain way out in public, and if she doesn't, I'm the first person, or obviously Danielle, to correct. Like I don't need another adult to step in. If I'm taking my kid in public, I'm taking the responsibility of how they're going to act and interact with other people. So
yeah,
I
so how do
don't
you
expect anyone to go in her little like personal bubble.
how do you guys teach them like who is a safe person? Like in that situation where that other parent was just like, "Oh yeah, can you just like go grab him?" And like obviously that boy is never going to be taught that like you shouldn't trust some people.
Yeah,
It's just like, oh, whoever is lording over you the hardest, like just listen to that person.
right.
So, but like for other people who have like awareness, like Mila, she understands that you guys like trust and like care and protect. So like when someone else comes around and like tries to
Nope.
like how would you tell her that like okay let's say she goes to like some like level 3 gymnastics thing and she's doing like vaulting now and the coach just kind of has to catch her like what's going to be the process of saying like hey this person is also someone that we can like trust and care about so it's okay if they
It is very conditional, and they do not become someone that you trust. They become someone who is granted confidence conditionally in that one scenario. So like trust in my mind is someone that like in no matter the circumstance you can generally expect them to act in your best interest. That is not what I would expect a gymnastics coach to do. In certain scenarios, like you explained, like if it's like level 3, like in that scenario I would say, all right, Mila, this is what you're going to do. Like they explained it to you what you're going to do. I am not
Mhm.
qualified to be catching you out of the air. They are. This is what they're going to do. Anything past that you're uncomfortable with, or even if you're not comfortable with that, you need to say something very clearly, and that at the moment you say something, it stops.
Okay, and
That
then
sounds pretty solid.
like if it's just some other like let's say she's out at some friends that she met at this club and then they like
Oof.
are playing tag or something like that and one of the other moms thinks that she's being like too aggressive so she like runs up and like grabs her and stops her from like chasing one of her kids because she thinks like she's gonna like tackle her or something. Obviously this is never gonna happen but like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be
let's say
nuts.
like where another mom is like, "Oh, like that girl is going crazy. I need to go and stop her." And then like she came up and grabbed her by the arm. Like would would Mila be in the position to like think that she's now threatened because this person kind of like came up to her and like got in her personal space without giving her a reason why?
I don't think that she would be threatened. I think she'd be uncomfortable, and I would expect her to just voice that discomfort. And then, like, both to the parent, like, if she, again, it depends, like, right, we're just talking about a random scenario. So, like, it depends on who the person is. If you have no prior experience with them and if someone grabs you, I don't know that talking it through with them makes a lot of sense. Like getting away is probably the best scenario in that position, and then come tell one of us. But if it's somebody that you have known for a certain amount of time and they do something that's like out of the norm for you and like something like that, I would not expect them to have a full blown conversation. Like I wouldn't expect Milo to have a full blown conversation with them, but I would think it's okay, and I think it would be a good practice for Milo to say like that I'm not comfortable with that. Do not do that. Like don't touch me there, and then come and tell me, and I'll have the bigger conversation with the parent. Like that's my
And
job.
like you're thinking ahead of time that another parent will not do something like that.
I'm thinking ahead of time that I'm not going to place my child in a position where another parent can do that without me being immediately there to correct it.
Sure. So it wouldn't be okay if another parent did that.
Um, no, I would expect another parent before they put their hands on my child. Again, unless they're trying to save them from something, or save their own kid in some way. Like if
Which
Milo's
they
just
are in that scenario.
Right.
Right.
So like if Mila's just wailing on a kid, like again, I can't imagine this, but if like yeah, if a kid yeah, if Mila and a kid are in a fight and like your kid's losing pretty bad, then yeah, I'd probably expect you to pull Mila off of them just like for the safety of your kid. And in that scenario, I wouldn't blame the parent, but yeah, I still have to have a conversation with you, like obviously, because our kids fought. Like that's just wild. But yeah, I would say it. Yeah, it's also circumstantial. Like if it the severity is I don't like that you tagged them hard as you ran past, like that seems excessive. But if we're in a full blown fight and your kid's losing, then or if you're winning and you just like you to try to move separate it, then yeah, I expect there to be some uncomfortable moments there, and like that's just the reality of life.
Yeah, how do you teach the difference?
You have to explain those kind of scenarios.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like as long as they hear you talk about it at least once or twice, then they'll always just have that in the back of their head.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
the situation comes up, you'll just be like, oh, like it'll just like be there, like ready to be triggered. At least that's how
Right.
I felt like it was for me
Yeah.
growing up.
That's a good point.
Mm.
You have to
Like,
too like you can't it's not about this in it's not about the particular scenarios. I don't think. I think it's more about like the expectation of how you like of what you expect people to treat you as and what they should expect you to treat them as. Like if you start with that, I feel like a lot of those other scenarios probably get rectified through some combination of that understanding. Like otherwise, yeah, like you said, like I can't possibly account for every possible scenario she could be in. So all I can really do is be able to hopefully teach her like how generally I would expect people to treat each other through like my own actions and how she interact. And I've actually already said to her like, which sounds really stupid, but even at 2, I've already told her like when we've gone to the park before, just because a kid is your size does not mean that they're going to interact with you like the same way that you would interact with them. Like you're a little bit ahead. Like not every kid's gonna want to talk. Like not every kid's gonna want to say hi. A lot of kids are still very attached to their parents. Like and she is sometimes too. So like you have to give people space. And there's been times where Mila has seen kids before and like waved and they've been uncomfortable and then she just backs up and walks away because like she gets it. Like if she sees they're not wanting to interact, or like she's not gonna force it.
Mm.
But you have to learn that through trial and error. Like there's no other way really.
yeah, I could see that. Like, that's funny. So you think she's advanced?
I mean, for the group of people that we interact with, I mean, our pool is small, so
Yeah, I guess I
who
don't really
knows?
have many other. Well, and she's like still a baby, and all babies are babies. It's just like, but yeah, once I guess they're like walking and talking, you can kind of tell the difference a little bit more. But
Yeah, but yeah, the way that she talks and interacts, yeah, from the way other adults talk to us about how she acts and about how other kids act, yeah, I think that she's at least above average. Yeah, I would say.
that's pretty good. That's funny. I always say that about Raina too. I was like, you're so advanced.
Yeah,
But like then I
advance.
think, am I just saying that because like I'm her dad and like I'm just like
Right.
bound to think that?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
honestly, like I do think she's advanced. But like again, like there's not much to like compare right now because it's still so early.
Yeah,
But I
you're
do. It's
super early.
funny
Yeah.
because I do say that, and when I heard you say that, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yep. I think I started feeling that way more when like other parents would like ask how like at gymnastics they asked like how old is she because like all the kids would be on the trampoline and just be flopping around and then she'd get up there and count to 5 like so that immediately there was a kid there was a kid like a couple weeks or a parent a couple weeks ago that asked that she was like how old is your kid and it turned out Milo was like 3 days older than her little boy who was flopping around everywhere so so like so it's like, oh, and that was
Oh.
her exact reaction, like, oh, like she's just turned 2 a couple of months ago, like, all right.
But I feel like girls and boys are different though.
That's true. That's also true. I would say, yeah, I would generally say that that's true in this class too. That I think the girls are have it more together than the boys. boys. I think the boys just seem and that, but that's see like it's so hard to pin it too because like I feel like everyone thinks that, so they also don't correct as much as they should with boys. So like they're self-fulfilling prophecy. Like it's just you're making the boys worse by just saying, "Oh, they're just boys." Like no, your kid's a fucking demon. Like you're you're not even giving them a chance. Like I feel bad, so bad for those kids.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like to be raised like wild, like with like not enough interaction.
Wild and free.
Yeah, wild and free. I was like, yeah, I don't know what that's like. But yeah, I definitely also looked at it and I just didn't understand because I definitely was one of the more in control kids for sure.
Yeah.
I think we all were probably. So we don't have any wild raised people on this show.
You wow. Yeah, I can't.
Was
Oh, go ahead.
was Danielle wild raised
No,
in your opinion?
I don't think so. No, I don't know if she had like the level of structure that Mila has, or maybe like Reina will have. I don't know, but I'll have to ask her. That's a good question.
That's funny.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I'm trying to think like who was like wild raised.
I feel like there's
I
so many
can't even
different
think of
ways you can
anyone.
be raised like wild. Like you could be raised wild the way like the way boys I think are raised sometimes by like oh they're just gonna like everything they do oh they're just gonna be boys they could just be like crashing everything lighting fires everywhere it's like yeah they're just boys like like that kind of wild which is crazy like it's just like they're just not even a good citizen it has nothing to do with the fact that they're a boy they're just terrorizing the world that's crazy.
Oh my god.
Or you could be like raised without like certain structures where like you might be I'm trying to think of a good example but like maybe you were never taught how to share or like something like that you know what I mean like there's lots of kids who act perfectly sane until they have to do something social
Yeah, that's true.
so
Yeah, I guess I've always tried to avoid like those like kids when I was growing up, so then I never became friends with any. And then all my
damn
friends ended up being people who had like parents who were like around.
with it
Yeah, who at least like did something. Yeah, I've never heard any of you guys tell me a story about how you were doing something crazy and one of your parents came up to you and you're saying, "Hey, can you stop that? It's time to stop that now." Okay. Hey, like no, there's no fucking way. Like no, no, none of
yeah
our moms would have allowed that.
no
Yeah,
no
at no point were my parents ever afraid of me, and that's what those parents are like. They're afraid of their own
Yeah.
children.
yeah why though
Yeah, you even
Uh,
made it a point to describe how big that guy was. So like
yeah
you can
yep
tell like in the story you knew that he had even less of a reason to be afraid.
right yeah like
Like
he had
but yet he
every
still did nothing.
yeah I don't get it
I don't get it either.
I just feel like for someone, okay, so maybe, and maybe this is a bad assumption. You guys can tell me, but I feel like people who work out as much it's to the level of like being able to see like very clear definition beyond the normal like build. Like he had to have been like 190 between 190 and 210 if he's 6'2", right? So like he's pretty thick. Like like that's not something you get just by like going to the gym twice 2 or 3 times a week. Like he's there most days, right? So like
That's like years of work.
right. And I would think that like if you're doing that, there has to be some level, and maybe not, maybe it just works out for strength, but like I would think that you care about your appearance in some way, and maybe I'm just wrong, like based on the way he handled himself and his clothes up until the point he got to his kid. Like so it's odd for
It's
me
like,
to
hey,
square
hey.
yeah, like if what you were going for was like muscle man, like I am in control, it is very strange to see you behind a child that's yours saying like basically pleading with them to get off of an activity. Like that's just
Yeah,
strange.
That just seems exhausting.
Like
Like,
and to have like no bass in your voice at all. You're just like you just sound like you're just like yeah, like you said, scared. You just sound scared. Just weird.
like maybe he was just so dead inside. Like that's all he could muster up.
Maybe. Yeah, that definitely could have been it.
Uh,
That, and that's unfortunate if that's the case. That's really
Like
something.
maybe while he was like making his pathetic pleas to his kid, the real like subject in his mind was like how terrible his life is like in the background.
Uh,
So like anything that came out just sounded so like unenthusiastic because honestly like he was just too wrapped up in how terrible his life is.
but
yeah,
can't he?
I've
somebody
seen
get the
like guys like that before. I've
someone
even
get
seen
the
girls like that before.
they gotta get the cops over there and watch that guy,
Mm,
cause he's on the
Yeah.
path to disaster.
Yeah, like that's not good.
yeah.
Yeah, first
Jesus
you're
Christ.
pathetically pleading with your kids, and then you're committing suicide the next day. Like,
Yeah,
that's the path.
in that order, actually.
Yeah.
All it takes is one day.
You
Yeah.
know what? That's kind of interesting. There was like some kids in my church where their dad committed suicide, and
Jesus.
I definitely he was like honestly like he was like the attitude that you were saying that guy was like that's like it reminds me of him. Like that's how he just always was. Like I've just always known him to be that way. And then like one day he killed himself. Like everyone left the house and then he just turned on the oven and like with the gas and just like suffocated.
Wait, so you say that so you're saying that his demeanor was scared? That's how you
I
felt
mean,
about
I
it?
guess I never yeah, I guess maybe so. Yeah, scared is kind of a good word. Like his wife was definitely much more dominant and he had two kids who were I guess, yeah, in my opinion, on the wilder side, for sure. Definitely. And then he killed himself. And then, like, everything changed. Like, they were, like, silent. Like, no one acted out after that. Like, yeah, yeah, they were, like, I mean, understandably so. Like, it's like, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
uh,
that's one way to course correct.
like what? Yeah, like what?
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah,
teaches
they
you
were
the
all pretty
ultimate
devastated
lesson.
for sure.
That's actual insanity.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, so,
you're gonna make it worse on yourself if you just like if you passively do anything. Most things that matter. If you passively do most things that matter, I feel like you're just gonna be in a worse place than when you started. Like,
right. Yeah, like it takes like even with talking, like it takes like concentration and forethought about what you're gonna say and the consequences they'll bring forth and how you say them. And clearly, like his forethought was overtaken by whatever else was going on because what was coming out of his mouth was completely useless. Like just saying, "Hey, can you stop jumping on the trampoline, please? Hey." Like, and he just turned around and you're still just sitting there. Like, yeah, that like you're not really thinking because you would understand like this isn't working. Like, I need to try something else. So
yeah.
then you would just do something else at that point. But he did nothing. So like something it makes me think that like he had like way too much going on.
But
And
then
maybe
like
his gym is the only time he gets to escape his life
but
and
then
like
like
be free.
why do all of this then? Like why half participate? Like it's almost worse. It would almost be better if you weren't there.
Maybe like he has like five more kids at home and it's like marginally better to be just like sitting there like just like zombified away
But
with
that's
one
worse.
kid,
Like
letting
that's
him go
worse. Why?
crazy
How do you
and deal
ever
with the
get
other four.
how do you ever get to five?
I don't know.
Like in a not
Personally, I don't know.
in a not well state. I can see if you just love children and every time one comes out you're just like this is incredible and they're all like okay great all right fine like I that's not for me personally
Like
because
by the
like
time you get to five, you're just like, this is so amazing.
yeah right
Like
yeah
I don't even know how that
but
could be possible,
how can you somberly get to three and be like yeah all right two more like
but
like what
maybe they were all accidents.
didn't no sorry wrong false no you don't get to three on accident you get to three by just absolutely not giving a fuck. Most birth control, if you go to like most clinics, you can get it for almost free, if not very close to free.
Yeah, well then you have to like go to there ahead of time or
You
something.
came to gymnastics. You can't go across the street?
I don't know, man. He's just trying to have a good time.
Yeah, you look like you're having a good time, all right. Fucking hell.
Yeah, again, not thinking with
But
any
any,
sort of
eh,
forethought
but
of like what his life would become. He's just
yeah, but and I don't.
making accidents.
I only brought it up because it's not him that I'm really concerned about. It's the kid because it's not like the kids too, right? Like they don't know, like, and they shouldn't know. They should only know if you've taught them. So like it might be the case. You might be right that he's going through a lot of stuff, but that's still not fair to the kid. You have to figure your own shit out for the like for the sake of the kid because you're doing is leaving the rest of us to deal with your unruly human that you've unleashed upon society, and because you're
Yeah.
saying it's too much for you to handle, the rest of us have to handle it? Like, what?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is too. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
they always bring their unruly kid out in public and unleash them on like the innocent
Yeah.
civilians.
And
Why is that?
I'll be the first to say Mila is nowhere near perfect. She definitely has breakdowns and like she definitely like wants to like throw fits and stuff too. Like she's two. But there is never a time where that happens and my response is just, "Come on." Like, what?
Come on, hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey.
Yeah.
Like, like no, dude. Like, God, I literally couldn't imagine. Like,
and then
yeah,
I
my life is
and then I
over at that point. I might as
right.
well kill
Yeah.
myself right
Yes.
now. Like,
Yep.
honestly,
Yeah. Like,
because
and then I
just
feel
like you
bad.
said, like it's just getting worse by doing
By the second, literally by the second, it's getting worse.
that.
Remember that fad when people were talking about quiet quitting?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Which
what
is just
that is.
like
Yeah, he's quiet quitting.
yeah,
Yeah,
quiet,
that's a good way to explain
quiet
it.
quitting on his parenthood.
He's
Yeah,
on all of
that shit is a
society.
job.
But quiet quitting, in my opinion, though, was just doing what you're like supposed to do in the first place. So like, in my opinion, like that's more than quiet quitting. Like if you're just like, hey, like you're straight up not doing
That's
enough. Like
giving
you're
up.
blatantly
Yeah,
quitting.
that's giving up.
I mean, yeah, maybe not blatantly, but like it's more than quiet.
You're phoning it in.
Yeah. Like everyone notices. Like they probably don't realize, but like the kid
But see,
notices,
that's the
everyone
thing.
around them notices.
But that's the thing. There's so many people who operate like that now that I don't think everyone notices. I think very few people. I feel like Danielle and I noticed. The one other parent of the girl who seemed to have her shit together, I feel like she noticed, and I feel like the instructor noticed because he has to notice. It's literally
Right.
his
It's his
job.
job.
But it's also your job to be a parent, so like whatever. Anyway, but yeah, like the majority, the rest of
You
it,
can't get fired
ever
from that though.
right, yeah. But everyone else is just dealing with their own chaos because they're all like it's all some variation of that, of people running in circles of just like. I seriously like Milo was on something with Danielle, like a part of the activity they were supposed to be doing. And I just was standing there because like we switch off because we're both there, right? So we just kept switching off. And when it was not my turn, I was standing there, and I just like did a quick spin around, and it's just nothing. Like it's like a fight scene from a movie. Like when they're following the main character in slow motion as he's walking, it's just bodies flying. Like that's how it felt. And I was just like, and I literally said out loud when Danielle came back, I said, "There's just chaos all around us." Like I said that out loud.
Good. Yeah, I remember like being like like around like 2 and 3 and 4, like before I was in school and like
You
being
remember
around
being
like the
two?
wild kids. I do have like two memories from when I was 2 years old, like confirmed memories.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
wild.
I know. So be careful. Don't walk around naked around her because she might remember what that looks like now.
Oh no, I've already yeah. I cut that kind of thing out very very early because I was afraid of just that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Same. I'm like, it's getting to that point where I gotta make sure I'm like completely decent at all times. Cause yeah, I
Yep.
have a few confirmed memories, but like the memories are at the end of my 2 year old stage. Like they were within a few months of me about to turn 3, both of them, which is so yeah, that's when mine formed. But yeah, I remember like there was a couple times where I'd be put in situations where I'd be around the wild kids, and like I felt like scared. Like I didn't want to be around the wild kids. Like I just felt like they were gonna do something like crazy and like and hurt me or something. like, or like I was gonna get in trouble, but mainly like just get hurt, honestly, like because they're just fucking wild. Like they have no intuition of like what's gonna like cause damage and what's not. Like I remember like one time my mom dropped me off at daycare and there was this kid just like going around to all the other kids going like blah 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 like like
What the what the fuck?
and I'm just like, and no one was stopping him, and I'm just like, why am I here? Like, please, like, I think I want to go home for sure. Like, first of all, like he would get like right into the like almost like not only like smacking your face with his arms, but almost like running his face right into your head, like with his like stupid movements, like. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, it's just like he wasn't saying words; he was just doing that, like. And I like, this is like, yeah, that was an unhinged kid for sure.
Yeah,
But
see,
I wasn't
like,
like that. I was
yeah,
coherent. And I was like, this is not normal. I want to go
if someone does that to Mila, the parents are not gonna like me very much.
home.
I'm not gonna touch your kid, but I definitely am gonna tell my kid to punch your kid in the face.
Yeah, smack that kid
Yeah.
in the face,
I mean, you're gonna
literally.
get like one solid warning of like no, like because we've definitely taught her if anyone comes up to you, anyone at all that you do not know, like you be should be very very loud, no, no, thank you, and like be going the other way. Not obviously she's not gonna be in any position where she's by herself, but like on the off chance that we just lose her in some way. So like
Right.
after that. You are like if someone is your size, yeah, absolutely. You just fucking ball that hand up real tight. You
Yes.
just, you
Right.
just,
Yeah.
you just cock that shit back. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
expect someone to, like
that's
people to
hilarious.
respect personal bubble. If someone walk past you, that's not a big deal. But if someone's like trying to get your attention while they violate your space, like what are you doing?
I feel like my mom always taught me to fight back, but I was never that like person, I guess. I just always wanted like peace and like
Yeah,
yeah. So I
yeah, I
never
probably
thought to
wouldn't.
like hit that kid.
Yeah, I
I
probably
was
wouldn't
just
tell her
like
to hit
I
her
just
in the
wanted him to
face.
go away. Like
That's just what I
so
want
I
to
just
do. I shouldn't say that.
but like yeah, now that I'm older, I'm like he needs to get hit and I like and if I was 2 and I can go relive that moment as a 2-year old, I would gladly punch that kid right in the face. Like it's like no one would do anything. They weren't even stopping him from doing
Yeah.
anything. So like I would punch him in the face and he would leave me alone. That's probably what would happen. But like I was just so young and like little and I was like I didn't know what was happening. Like I didn't have to deal with anything like that at home. So like
Mm,
now I'm like out in this wild and like there's this wild kid that no one's stopping.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But now with daycares and stuff, like they have it where you can like a lot of daycares they have it where you can like log in and like watch your kids through the cameras and stuff. So like and I know if my parents like would have had that opportunity, my mom for sure would have took advantage of that and like been like, why is this kid? Why do you have this kid just going around acting like fucking crazy with all the other kids and no one's doing anything about it? Like but she couldn't see any of that, like, because there are no cameras, there's no nothing. Like, I just had to tell her, like, when she picked me up that day, that I didn't like that place and like the kids were crazy, and she was just like, oh, okay, like I won't take you back there
Do
then.
do you either of you think that people have children as like a status symbol? Because that was my other theory when Danielle and I were
Yeah,
talking about it on the way back. Of like a lot of these people don't really seem to like the fact that they even have a kid. Like they just seem to be doing what they think other parents expect them to do.
yeah, yeah. I think there's definitely people like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Like you just bring a whole human into the world and you're just like, yeah, I got them now, and that's it.
yeah, that is crazy. I feel like how do you not learn your lesson after the first time? Like
Yeah,
whether it's like status symbol or an accident or you didn't care or whatever. I feel like anything would have got corrected after the first one. Like I'm never acting or having that attitude again if this is what just happened. Unless I was like happy and like I wanted it, then I'd be like, yes, that was good. Let me do that again.
yeah.
But
Having
yeah,
multiple kids.
some people just don't learn.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't think there's much of a consequence.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fair point too. Yeah, as
I mean, I
Valero
guess if you
said,
already have one, there's not as much of a consequence. But if you don't have any, like the consequence is massive.
if you care.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. If you care and have foresight. If you have no foresight or ability to like understand what your future could be, then you'd be like, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna be a dad now. Like it's like don't even care or understand like what that really means. Like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have another one. Whatever. Yeah, I
Like
don't know.
nothing really happens when you're a bad parent. Like
Yeah,
only
that's true.
nothing happens. Like
Yeah.
No.
the worst thing that can happen is that your kid gets taken away and then you're probably happy. So like literally there is no consequence for being a bad parent.
And
Well, like
if your
sometimes
kid
you
gets
can go to
taken from
jail if
you,
it's too bad.
yeah, that's true. But if your kid just gets taken from you from like for like neglect, you can have. I don't know what the law. I mean, it probably varies by state, but there probably is a chance that you could have another kid and keep it.
Yeah, there's a 100% chance of
I have to look that up. I wonder.
that. Yeah,
Which is
you can.
crazy. That's
There's
like,
no law that in existence that stops you from having kids.
well, yeah, no, it might, but I would think that like protective services would prevent you from like being able to keep the child after you birth it.
They'd be like, okay, you're gonna birth it, but we're taking it away
Yeah.
immediately. No, I don't think there's anything like that.
Danielle and
You
I
just get to
always,
raise it. Honestly, even if
yeah,
you're
you
treating them
do.
terribly, like they do everything they can to not take them away.
Hmm.
Well, they don't, they because they can't raise them either. So it's
Right.
like, I mean,
So it's only like
that's
the very
what's
worst of the worst actually end up getting taken away.
that's what's crazy. Like when they when you adopt a dog, like they do whole ass house visits. Well, when you have a child, they just sit at home with you.
Yeah, when you have your own kid, yeah, yep.
But
Just like
like what?
whatever.
But like what about it being your biological kid makes you more qualified? Like that that doesn't mean
No.
anything.
It doesn't. The only thing that it designates is that it's your responsibility. Like no one else can say that it's theirs, like it's yours because science said so.
Cause science.
Yeah. But with a
Yeah.
dog, it's like it's not like you're really related to this dog. You're just signing some paperwork that says like, okay, well, I'm telling you I'll do it, but they're like, man, I don't trust you. It's just a dog. Let me see your house.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I mean, and I think there's something to that. Like generally speaking, I think people are probably more attached to their own blood. But in the world that I'm living in, man, from what I can see, it doesn't seem to be much of a factor. People do not seem to care in the way that I would think.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
true. Blood is not always enough.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. What a world. What a world.
Crazy. Oh man. How long have we been recording so far? What are we at?
Um, 47 minutes.
47 minutes? All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, but another thing that happened, like obviously you guys know, I'm in school and working. Um, this is actually pretty crazy. So I think I've told you guys like I'm probably gonna get promoted, and so like last week, was it last week? Yeah, last week Thursday we had haven't heard anything about like the job or like pay. The last I heard was like a couple months ago when I talked to one of the higher ups, and he was like, "Yeah, this is my idea. Like, I'll let you know when we get things, squared away, and when we get, the position made or whatever." I was like, "All right, cool." That was months ago. We had a all HR an all HR meeting. So like, there's like 150 people on this call, and he's leading the call. The guy I had recently talked to about the position. At the end of the call, he says, "So as an organization, we're trying to get less siloed, more collaborative, and more data focused as an organization. And one of the things we're going to be doing, and on the slide, it literally says HR data analyst on the slide." And he says one of the ways we're going to do that is we're going to have an HR data analyst that's going to like sort of bring together all of our different reports and all that kind of crap. And he says, yeah, so John Gray will be stepping into that role. And I'm like, wait, wait a second. So keep in mind, I have
Okay,
not
why
talked
is that crazy?
because I haven't talked to anyone about salary, about what my responsibilities are, about when I'm
Oh,
starting. He just
you
announced that I'm
haven't
doing it.
accepted the job even.
No, not even a little bit.
Well, it seems that they already think you have accepted the
Yeah,
job.
yeah. So apparently, no one knew he was going to do that, at all. Nobody knew. So after the call, my like director called me. She's like, "Yeah, so that's not how we wanted that to happen." So like my direct boss found out on that call with everybody else. She
That
also
you were gonna
didn't.
be the
Dang.
one.
That I was gonna be like basically leaving, and she said when I talked to the director, she
Oh,
goes, yeah, so I talked to him about it this morning, and I was trying to get a hold of like your boss to talk to her about it, but like I just didn't have enough time. So we're kind of scrambling right now, and I'll get things situated with like we'll talk about pay and everything. He wants you to start on October 9th. It's the 4th. I still haven't talked to anybody.
that's Monday.
Yeah, well, that's not happening anymore. Apparently, they pushed it back again to like the 15th. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I can't believe that there are full ass organizations that can just like just do this kind of thing. Just like, yep, you're just doing this now, and like just tell everyone about it. Just like, yep, that's happening. But like, I
I
haven't
mean, you
said
could
I'm.
make them look super stupid and be like, I don't accept.
Well, yeah, I still have the option. Obviously, I still have the option. I don't have to do it. Like, I don't have to do anything. But yeah, that would be pretty crazy. Like, he obviously said that because he knew I was interested. But yeah, like to the way
You could be
the
like, oh, like I'm supposed to be getting paid $54 an hour. Like, yeah,
yeah
like you said, I had the job, and that's what I
yeah
thought I had in mind. So,
yeah yep yeah. It was a
oh
wild
my
it was a
god.
wild experience. But like. And the only reason I even tell this story because like I think it's funny now because I actually really like working there, and just the way that the way that no one else seems to know like what other people are gonna do. Like he had just made a comment about not being siloed, and he just went full silo by himself. He was just like, nope, this is happening, and goodbye. Like, and that's it.
Hilarious. And like, what was he like? What position in the company?
He's one of like the chiefs, like the chief HR. They call it chief people
Okay,
officer at our company, but it's basically like chief
Oh
HR.
man.
Yeah,
the CPO,
yeah, CPO. Yep.
the
Hey.
three CPO,
Yeah, he's C3PO.
C3PO.
Three CPO.
Well, even if you didn't know it was gonna happen, congratulations. Well
No,
deserved.
thanks. Yeah, yep. I
Well,
appreciate
what if
that.
he doesn't? You can't congratulate him. What if he doesn't accept it?
If he doesn't, he's gonna get fired. So obviously,
So
Well, then
congratulations.
congratulations. Yeah, you've
yeah.
been fired. That's
He's
what
like
you
either
wanted,
way,
man.
Yeah, he said he
congratulations.
likes working there. I'm assuming he wants to keep working there, so he has to say yes.
No.
That's how it works, you know.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true. Like, if you were to just say no, I want to keep doing the same thing I've been doing. It's like, oh,
Uh,
well, you're
I
fired.
I might do that. I mean, it depends. It absolutely depends on like what. Because like I don't know who I'm reporting to yet. I don't know what they expect. I expect my workload will probably double. So like yeah, there's a lot that has to happen before like day one. But yeah, that's definitely an option. You can always say no. And this is the first time in my life where I feel like I'm in a position where I'm comfortable saying no too, because like I don't have to work. Like it's nice, but I don't like I have other things I could be doing too. Like I could spend the day with Mila and be okay. So even if they just get rid of my current position, like which I don't see them doing, but yeah, I could just be like, nah, I think this is fine.
They don't give you any like
And then they're gonna be like,
tuition
what happened to
assistance, do
John
they?
Gray? I thought
They don't what?
Sorry. They don't give you any like tuition assistance, do they?
No, I don't think they know I'm in school. I haven't talked to anyone about it.
Oh, okay.
your boss. They're gonna be like, if you say no, they're gonna be like, oh, what happened to John Gray being this new HR analyst? Like everyone's gonna be asking him about that, which is gonna
Mm,
be kind of hilarious. I
yeah,
don't know if
that
it'll be enough to make him like do anything about it though.
I
But
would
it'll make
I
him
would
look
not think
stupid.
so.
Like that does affect his image. Like if you
Yeah.
make a big
Sure.
announcement and the announcement doesn't come true, like people are
Right.
like, oh, this guy's like he's not right for
Which is
whatever reason that may be. He was wrong.
which is why I was surprised that he did it that way.
Yeah, it's a risky move.
Like he's very old school, which in a lot of ways I appreciate because he's like a very straight shooter. It's very rare that you don't know where you stand with him. He'll just say what's on his mind. Like the first time I talked to him about that role, it took like 5 minutes. Like he was like, "This is what I'm thinking." He was like, "Are you interested?" I was like, "Yep." And he was like, "Okay, bye." That's
He's
it.
like, all right, I'll sign him as accepted.
Yeah,
Verbal agreement signed.
I
Yeah.
really do I really do think in his like that is it's just that simple to him. Like I think in his mind he's like everyone else will work out the details. I'm gonna stay on the bigger picture and that's it. Like yeah, because he has
He's like,
people for
yeah,
that. Like
I accept for
when you're at that level,
$100 an hour.
yeah, that would not happen here. But that would be crazy. Yeah,
That would be funny. Or
But are
maybe
they
you
gonna
could like,
say no?
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
You've
they could.
accepted.
Yeah, they could.
Okay, then just like go down to 90, 99.
Yeah, and then you can negotiate down to 50 or something and still be golden.
Can you
Yeah, it
imagine? Can
seems
you
to
imagine
me
just
that
starting in a role
they.
where you're just like, yeah, so I know I was making like 45,000 a year. What I would like to make in this new role is $175,000.
You
And
like
yeah,
quadrupled
and I'm open
your
to
pay.
negotiation.
And the negotiation table is open.
And begin.
And yeah, bidding will take
They'll like
place
at least
now.
give you a number.
Yeah, no, I expect them to.
It's like, oh, your number is $13 an hour. That would
No,
be
that's
like,
Yeah,
actually that's smart. That's what you're supposed to do. Like you should give them a number like, yeah, 200 grand. They'll be like, wow, that's a lot higher than we were thinking. But the apps like the best we can do is, and they'll probably give you their highest.
yeah,
yeah,
right.
that's what I do in FIFA in Football Manager. Like whenever I like take bid or try and bid on players or whatever, I or no, whenever I try and sell players, I I ask for like just an absurd amount price, and then by default, like the AI doesn't know what else to do but to counter with their highest available price, and then I just accept it, and then I get the highest price every time, and basically like cheat the game kind of. But like, it's yeah, it's just like real life. Just give them a high price, and
No, for sure. I've thought about that a lot, and that's probably something I have a hard
wait,
time
what's the
doing.
position called?
An HR data analyst is what they're calling it.
That's the new position.
Hmm.
Let's see what the high end of a HR data analyst makes.
Probably 80 or 90, if I had to guess. It could be lower. I guess it depends on what you're doing.
Right.
I feel like
Okay.
it could be anywhere from like 50 to like 100. Like it's such a weird. I don't know. It depends.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of data that you're working with and like to
Yeah.
what capacity.
Yeah. Are you
It
dating?
goes from a minimum of $36,000 a year to
Jesus Christ.
a maximum of $186, $86,000 a year.
Okay, the 186, that's not real. That is some weird ass outlier. There's no one that's called an HR data analyst who's making 186. That's insane.
And the median and the average price is 96,000.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
I
So
can see someone who like when like data science was first getting really big, someone who like stepped into that role like first, I can see how they might have gotten like 183 or something crazy
You,
like that.
yeah, you game the system. That's crazy. Because it's not worth that. I mean,
I was
it's
working
worth.
somewhere where I saw that happen.
Yeah, it's worth a
That's
lot for
crazy.
sure. It is like especially data science. That's a little different from like analyst,
Data
but
analyst.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, data scientist. Yeah, that's worth a lot. But 186. Yeah, yeah, you negotiated your contract to the max. That is crazy.
Yeah, you did good.
And
You did
36,
not
you
a good
basically
job.
just you basically were just like starving. You needed rent money, so you just took it. Like, because if you're an analyst of any kind, you're actually analyzing. Unless you're just pulling, like you're literally just pressing a button and seeing what's in Excel and pressing one more button. Like, there's no way that as an analyst with that kind of title, you should make 30. But
I think
I have seen that too.
the title is funny because it's like it could either be like entry level right out of college or like
Mm,
the smartest guy in the room.
right. Yeah.
The only way to
Yeah.
change it is to put like senior or
Yeah,
like
senior. Yeah.
junior or like 1, 2, whatever
I
afterwards.
actually, I actually really hate when organizations do that. Like put senior in front of things, or like lead, or like team
Mm.
lead. Like it's all just another way to not pay. Like that's just
Team lead specialist,
yeah,
team lead
special.
specialist assistant.
Yeah, assistant. That's actually reminds me of a like at the old company I used to work at. The I used to work like with a team of recruiters, right? So like it was just a recruiting organization. That's all they did, right? So like every time there was a position that they had a hard time on the specific team, every time they had a hard time recruiting for these roles, this one guy always would change the name the names of the roles to like the most absolutely ridiculously specific things, like to the point where it just didn't even make sense anymore. Like you've completely whittled down the candidate pool. Like it would go from like customer service associate to customer service associate slash warehouse slash glass worker slash dishwasher. Like, bro, who are you trying to recruit for, bro? What are you
he
doing?
just he just put the required skills
Yeah,
list
literally,
and just put it on the
literally.
Someone's
job
like,
title.
"Wow, that's
Yeah,
all me, bruh."
yeah.
Like,
Like, you
no,
need
never.
someone who can wash dishes and clean glass, man,
And weld.
and welder. Yeah, welder.
and
slash
well,
slash part time.
and have good
Yeah,
customer
and then
service
the other one he would do is like dash on call. Like brother, th-
and on call,
yeah, like
an emergency
you
on
you
call.
do not pay me enough to be on call and to have all these skills all
Yeah,
at
that's
once.
insane. Yeah, and then when he's looking for people, he's like, "Let's see your work history. Like, if you don't have a job that had all those things in it, then you're not the one I'm looking for. Like,
Yeah,
what other job is ever gonna have all that? Like,
yeah, yeah. It's really wild the things that people were doing in the like from like 2013 to 20 like 16 17 in the recruiting world. Like at least from what I saw, there was just some really strange things happening. And that's one of them. Job titles are just they're just wild for
yeah,
no
that's
reason.
hilarious. Yeah, when I hire people, even to this day, I still like have troubles trying to pick the right job title to like make a post under.
You don't.
Like, so many things are the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if you want someone to send bills, there's a billing specialist, and then
Billing
there's a
specialist.
billing clerk, and then there's also an accounts receivable. Just that's just like the job title itself, accounts receivable. And then there's also accounts receivable specialist. And like the
Hmm.
two are different apparently because like on Indeed it says like the average pay between the two is
They're not.
different. Like,
They're not
right?
different.
I was like, how? And then each of those positions I just said have an assistant option like version of it as well. So it's just like,
Yeah. It just so
yeah, so when
happens
I
that the
typed in
people that
billing,
are
it was
it
like,
just so happens the people that are putting the specialist or putting the whatever, they just tend to pay in this range and the other people tend to pay in the other range. They could do the exact same thing. Like it does the Indeed doesn't know that,
okay, yeah, then that's basically what it is. Yeah,
which is
there's just like
crazy.
so many jobs. So like if you're looking for a job, like you kind of have to know like all the different versions of your job like title that there could be in order to actually see all the jobs that are available. Otherwise, like yeah, if you do like accounting of any sort, like there's so many different like
Yeah.
words for like different accounting works
In
and I'm
Indeed
sure HR
especially,
stuff too.
Indeed especially is super wonky because they've started. I don't know if they just started doing this or this has like been going on. They've just started like completely getting rid of certain jobs if they say certain things in the description. Like they just won't advertise them at all. So like certain jobs, if they have any mention of passing like a drug test of any kind, they just get removed. Like you can't.
Really?
Yeah, and so it's something that like we're currently dealing with that. It's like that,
Interesting.
and if you put like advertisements that are too close together, like physically in location, so like within 30 miles of each other, it cancels them both out, and neither one of them get advertised.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
so Indeed is really weird. Like, yeah, Man, it's
Yeah, I
so
never knew about the drug test thing. I never
yeah.
put that on my applications anyways, because you know how
What
I feel.
he's like, man, bring it all. You as long as you can do
As
the
long as I
job.
don't know,
Yeah.
yeah. If I don't know, then you're fine.
I mean, I actually kind of feel that way too. Like, as long as you're not coming in and just like, if you're not making like a scene of it, because like the moment I know I'm a participant, like that's my only problem
Right.
with it. Like, then is if I'm
Yeah.
not a participant, then okay.
Like if something happens and it's like, okay, you knew this guy was doing
Right.
drugs this whole time, and like you could have like prevented this or said something to someone, or right,
No.
like anything, like literally anything whatsoever. So like, yeah, right. If I find out, then like you failed in my opinion, and you're fired. Like you failed your drug test. Like
Yeah.
it's affecting me in some
Yeah.
way, and now you are a nuisance, and that's not like good.
The moment they're
So
like,
like,
"Hey, you want to smoke a little bit?" You're like, "Welcome to your drug test. You're fired."
it's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, your drug test is now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
negative.
sentence has just triggered your drug
Like
test, and that
literally,
sentence has also failed your drug test.
no, literally, you're like, "Yeah, I'd love to." The moment it touches their lips, you're like, "You're fired."
Even
Jesus
when it's like,
Christ. Yeah,
you're right.
you're fired.
But you smoke it first, and then you hand
Yeah,
it to them.
yeah. They're like, "Here," like, yeah. That would actually be
Ooh,
absolutely gangster. Like,
that's
holy shit.
devastating.
like
That
you,
is
like you
devastating.
take the longest pull, and you're just like, and they're like, "Oh, great, you're fired." you just come up behind them and whisper in there, "You're
Yeah,
fired."
and then be
No,
like,
you have to wait till they actually get it in their system. Like,
Yeah.
like right when they get it
The
in the
deep
system, then it's
inhale.
like, you're fired.
Yeah. By the way, you're fired. Jesus Christ.
Oh man,
yeah, good shit though.
Yeah,
that's
but good shit
hilarious.
though.
Or,
God,
or if you were the boss, all they have to do is be like, "Hey, John, I just cheated on my wife," and you'd be like, "You're fired."
I'd be like,
Yeah. Oh.
you're fired.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, why would you
But no,
tell
I
me
mean it
that?
makes sense.
Like, why?
Hey, boss, I got something I just got to get off my chest. Last night I cheated on my wife, and that's just all he said. Like that was the end of the story.
Yeah,
Like the end. Like, well,
yeah.
would you fire him right there, or
I
would you
would,
like ask more
I
about
would say, that's interesting because I actually also have something to get off my chest. This morning, I fired my only employee.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Who? You must have another employee.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like that's funny because last night you lost your job.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. That's crazy because at the very moment that you were ejaculating into that whore, you also became unemployed. That's crazy. It's just
He
so.
also became
It's
unemployed.
just wild how those things lined up.
Yeah, can you collect unemployment if you've been fired for cheating?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the reason I don't think the reason, especially in at will states, I don't know if the reason necessarily matters. Does it?
Probably not. As long as you're fired, you
I
can
don't know.
probably get unemployment of some
I
sort,
have no
unless you did
idea.
something illegal to get fired. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you didn't do anything illegal, then there's probably a way they would be able to
Yeah, what a
make you pay unemployment.
that would be crazy. Yeah, so when you hire people, do you just put like generic job title number 3 and just hope?
Honestly, like I definitely do like research like on Indeed and like see like where most people are like posting for jobs of like similar responsibilities and like where people are like applying for jobs, and then I post like titles with like the most popular, like to get the most attention. So yeah, I do like some research before I post. It's a lot of work. Like I definitely understand the value of hiring a recruiter.
If
Because yeah, if you want to do it right, there's like a lot of little nuances that you have to
mm,
kind of like
yeah.
know about.
Yeah, that's true. If
Like you just think, oh, I'll post a job and I'll hire someone and that's just it. Like how easy is that? But like, no,
yeah, never.
dude.
Yeah, that's never the case. Guna, what
No.
about you? If you were hiring someone, would you go about it the traditional like would you go through a job board or like is in your experience is there any other way that you'd prefer to meet people and gauge their qualifications?
Like in a shadowy
I've
corner at the bar.
Yeah.
I've done hiring before, and like yeah, it was all through like job boards and like you have the dashboard where it says this person is at this stage and that whatever. And like that was cool and all that, but the part I didn't like was that you had to put certain like qualifiers to get people's resumes to show up for like the title that you wanted. So most of the time I would just like go and look at the dumped resumes myself, which I know nobody does, but I would do it anyways because I was just curious. Like I just wanted to see. So I didn't like that, but yeah, like I pretty much did like the traditional way, like the phone call first, bring them in for a real interview, and then yeah,
Do you feel like it
that's it.
worked? Like, do you feel like you got a quality person from that?
Yeah, I think so, but I believe that I'm probably a better judge of character than the average hiring manager.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's probably
That's
true
probably true.
for
No,
you.
that's definitely true. That's definitely true, I think.
But that's
Yeah.
how you do it. Like, there's like and like Lorraine tells me about so many people who are like recruiting, and they just like send them a text, be like, "Hey, you interested in this job?" And like, no one replies, and then it's like, I don't know why no one's replying. Like
Yeah, I
I just
what
like
is
you gotta give them that phone call. Like, it's
what is she
weird because like we don't do that in this generation, but you gotta do that.
what does she recruit for? Can you tell us?
Lorraine,
Yeah, like what kind of
she
people is she
does.
hiring for?
She hires managers for restaurants.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
if you're
so yeah, in that
a
case,
manager position, that's what she's hiring for.
okay. Yeah, in that the reason I asked is because I feel like different like levels of positions, like sometimes different brackets, I feel like communicate differently. So
That's
like
true too, yeah.
if you're just like mass hiring people at like $10 an hour, you might actually have some luck like doing text or email blasts. But yeah, for like managers, you probably want to like actually talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're looking for like skilled workers
Yeah.
of
Yep.
some sort. But yeah, if it's mass, then text probably would be just fine.
Yeah, but I
Probably
wouldn't. I
save you
mean,
time.
I guess I would text the manager, but like that wouldn't be my first. Like that wouldn't be my my like go-to. Like, yeah, you know what? Guy's got this great candidate. Let me text him.
Let me
Like,
just send them one text. Like
yeah,
that's it? Like
just be like, yo.
yeah, just say hey and that's it. And then
Yeah.
never respond. And it's like, oh, okay, well I guess I never got the conversation to get going.
Nope.
Like
How do
well
either of you know how Gen Z applies for jobs?
I don't think they do.
Just
I'm assuming they must go like on Indeed or do the same thing that we do, right?
I don't know. I'm wondering,
That's what
like,
I'm
what does it
assuming.
even look like?
So I think they do go on Indeed, but I think they're much more like mobile app appliers than we are. Like
Yeah.
it, I do work with a fair amount of somewhat younger people, and I think probably some of them might have come through Indeed. I mean, I assume so. I mean, I technically came through Indeed. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
where I do all my job postings. Like honestly, like when I search for like job listing websites, like the next one is like Monster or something like that, and that doesn't seem like honestly it just doesn't feel professional, like the name of
yeah.
it. So like I just don't use it. Like
I feel
and then there's
like
LinkedIn.
yeah. I was
Do
gonna say LinkedIn. Yeah.
do Gen Zers use LinkedIn?
If
I've
it
never
depends
seen one on
on
there.
what they're applying for, I think. Like I feel like LinkedIn tends to skew more corporate than Indeed
Mhm.
does. I feel like Indeed is sort of a catch-all. Like you can find corporate positions on there too, but you also can find everything else. I don't think like
Yeah.
people put
Like you're
a
not
lot
gonna
of stock into like advertising dishwashing positions on LinkedIn.
Could you imagine getting a dishwasher on LinkedIn? Like,
No,
you
I
made an
can't.
entire LinkedIn profile just to become a dishwasher? Like, that's way more work than you
Yeah.
need to do. Like,
And I
yeah,
think
if you want to be
the
an
cost
entry
is just
level
too
position, you
much.
just have to show up.
Yeah, yeah, really. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, that's what makes me think Gen Z doesn't really like work that much, or if they do, like it's not in positions that you ever hear about because apparently we have a bunch of open positions. Like, not we, like my organization, but the U.S. Like,
Yeah, in
there's
America,
way
yeah,
more
yeah,
positions open than there are people, and somehow there's
yeah.
still positions open. So
And there's
like,
still unemployed people.
yeah, so which is crazy, but yeah, I
Yeah.
I don't know.
So like I would say like whatever the unemployment is at now, this is as low as it goes. Like it's not possible to get any lower because anyone who doesn't have a job now doesn't want a job.
I would think, right? Like I would think that's the case.
Like
Or
I
or they
can't
just don't
imagine
want any
what
of the
situation
jobs.
you're in where you're just like I've been applying and I'm just not getting anything. Like no one's responding. Like
Well, or they just
I
don't want any of the jobs that would hire them quickly. Because like I think a lot of people like, and I've actually seen this. There's like there's a YouTube channel that I watch where people just go there to like get financial audits basically, and like a couple people have come on there where they've come from like software positions and they just refuse to apply anything below that. They're just like, nope, I'm not. And it's like you could be at Chick-fil-A tomorrow and make like 16, $17 an hour, and it's like, no, I think I'm gonna get a software. It's like you've been employed for unemployed for a year, and they're just like, nah, I don't want to do that. It's like, all right, if you
yeah,
don't want to
then
do
they
that
don't
and you
want a job.
right, and if you don't want to do that and you can take care of yourself, fine. But like a lot of the people that come on there, they're coming on there because like they're having financial struggles. So it's just interesting that it's like, nope, I'm gonna do this thing, and that is it.
Yeah, so I feel like if someone's doing that, you're not at the point where you're about to be homeless. Like there must be
No,
some other cushion you have.
I would think, yeah, I would
Or
think so.
something, some backup plan that you have. Because once you get to the point of being homeless, then I can't imagine you wouldn't accept any job that's just available at that point.
I I know some people that are like that who are
It's
homeless.
like, I lost it all, man. Did you try getting a job? You've been unemployed for a year. No.
Yeah,
Damn, like, what are you
I
doing?
legitimately know someone like that. Yeah,
Legitimately.
who's
Yeah, that's
yeah
crazy.
who is legitimately homeless. Yeah.
Damn.
And you're choosing to be homeless. Like you would just rather be homeless than get like a certain job than like or
Yes.
really any old job. That's what it is. You'd rather be homeless than get like any old job.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah.
all right. I
I
mean,
I never thought I'd actually see something like that, but yeah, it is a very strange thing to behold.
yeah, that is crazy. And
Yeah.
especially if like you spend your time like on the side of the street with like a cup asking for money, like that's work. Like if you're gonna do that, like you could just get a job.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up because there is a family in our town that does that, and there is a uh, there's like a Facebook group like
In
about
your town?
yep, yep. And homelessness is not like a big thing, like a huge thing in our town, but
I would assume it's zero. First off, you live
cl
so far up north, they should all be dead by the time winter
it's
comes.
close to zero, but yeah, it's not absolute zero. So like these people must have a way of getting around in some respect. So yeah, these people like it is
Yeah, do you
a
have public transportation in that town?
no.
Then yeah,
Well,
they must have something.
no, yeah, they must know somebody. So it's a guy, a girl, and their two children, and they sit in front of Walmart pretty much like 2 or 3 to 4 times a week. And there is a Facebook group like that Danielle has joined, like just about our town and like things that go on there. And she gets all the like the events from there and stuff. And people have complained several times about the fact that they sit out there and beg for money because one of the things that is like that obviously like any town like they need workers pretty much everywhere and they're just like refusing. They're just like, nope, we're gonna do this.
Like you could literally do anything. Like any entry level job you want,
Yeah,
you can do.
and that's what is really strange to me. Like unless I am missing something, there might be some requirement of like there might be some other things happening there. But if not, it seems very odd to me. Especially because I think if there's that many people complaining, I think there's probably people in the town that would just let them work there and be fine with it. But the frustration that people in the town have is that they're sitting out there without having done any of the other things. So yeah, I don't, especially with children. So yeah, it is weird. It is a weird, yeah. And that's not even
Like
who I
that
was
is
thinking
their
of.
job.
Yeah,
Like that's the job they chose then.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Like
Yep.
they looked at all the possibilities, and then there's like also a possibility is just to beg for money in front of Walmart, and there's like, yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yep.
Like, all right, yeah, let's do that.
Well, and that's one of the things that I feel like I learned like that's one of the reasons I like don't even buy. That's I guess that's not the exact same, but like I have to really know you and like know mentally where you're at to feel like I can reasonably give you assistance, either like my time or money in any sense, to feel like it's actually going to use. That's one of the reasons I don't give to charity anymore. One of the reasons is because like obviously it's most of that money gets eaten up by administration fees. But the other reason is I don't even know who they're helping or if they're helping in a good way. And like I see situations like that and I think like what the fuck? Like what happened there? Obviously there's more to the story, right? We don't know. But something had to have happened for them to make the decision that this is a better option than knocking on every single possible door and saying like, okay, like I would be trying to borrow people's lawnmowers to just cut grass for
Right.
fucking $10. Like I'm but that's the other thing. Like I have very little pride. Like I don't give a fuck. If I'm like broke, I'll do pretty much any job if I have to. But yeah, some people are just like, nope, I won't do that. And
Like you have enough pride to say I won't stoop that low, but then you'll be like, but I will go beg for change in front of Walmart.
yeah, my dad said that to me once. He said like I'll never go like work at Walmart ever again. And like he and my mom were arguing. It was like years ago. He and my mom were arguing about it. It's like she was like, well, what if like we came on hard times? He was like, I'll figure something out. I'm not gonna do that. And I was thinking like, but if that's the only thing, you're not gonna do that. Like, and that like in my mind, that's crazy. Like, could I find other stuff? Because we're creative, sure. But if the only thing I had was that, you better. I'm fucking in
Right.
Walmart. Like,
I would for
I'll see you
sure
at
be working.
Walmart. Like if it's between that and I'm not eating for the next week, like dude,
That's
I there's
crazy.
just no way. I have to provide. Like I have to. So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I don't understand that. But I that's a different era, right? So like maybe I think part of it is that he comes from a very poor family. He feels like he's probably made it. So like I don't think he ever wants to go back there because it feels like failure.
Because it feels like failure. Interesting. Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't come from a rich family, and I didn't come from a poor family. They were just like normal middle class. But like, I definitely will work at McDonald's if I have to. Like, I would not want to, and that would be the last choice. Well, right above begging for money outside of Walmart. Like, that's the real bottom. I mean, honestly, maybe like prostitution is like below that, and like
Ugh.
becoming like a gang member or something for
There's
like
just no
crime
way. There's no
is
way this
below
there
begging at
no.
Walmart.
There's no way the version of you today could ever do that.
No, I feel like
You
first
know
off,
too you
like
know too much.
right, I know too many different ways to make money. I have like too many different skills and life experience at this point. It's literally impossible. Like I'm like I feel very comfortable with that, like which is nice.
Right.
But like yeah, if I was 18 and I had no experience or any skills, then yeah, I would still do anything rather than beg for money in front of a store. And like, yeah, I don't give to them anyone who's like begging for money either. Like I've been burned too many times, like back when I was like living on the east side in Milwaukee. Like one time I gave money to a homeless guy and like I was the last one, I guess. I was like the end of his shift and like when I gave him money, he walked back to his Camaro and drove away. I was like I was like no fucking way. Like
Yeah,
he has a better car than I do.
there's whole like documentaries on that of people who just have make a living off of like just soliciting other people from.
Like he was dressed like complete shit. He was like, "Hey, he's like, spare some change or like whatever. He's like, you got $1 or any change on you?" I was like, yeah, like I think I got something. I gave him like probably like $1 or two. And he's like, thank you so much. And then like I walked away and then like he waited till like I got in my car, but I didn't pull off. I was like texting or something. And then he like no one else was coming out, so he walked back to his car and which was like a nice ass like red Camaro and drove away. I'm just like,
Damn.
what the I was like,
Yeah,
I was like looking around to see if anyone else saw that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, did my mind just play that trick on me? Because like, how the hell does a homeless person have a Camaro? Like,
yeah, that's why I would never like I don't know that I ever give a homeless person money anymore. I'll buy you food, but I would never
right?
give you money. Like and I have
Yeah,
done that before. Like there's been
yeah,
times where
same.
people have been like Yeah, like I'm just like, can you spare any? Can you give me anything in here? And like I've just gone nuts and been like, get whatever you want, like whatever, like just do it. But like yeah, money, like I have no idea what kind of like afflictions or addictions you have, and I am not about to feel that. Like I don't want to be a participant. So yeah, I'll give you food,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah, I don't. That would be crazy. Like he's just like, yeah, bitch, watch my ride, just in the Camaro, like.
He's like, thanks.
Skirt.
Yeah, I was like, wow, like that's great. And that's not the only time I've been tricked by that either. Like, so I just, yeah, I don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
I just
man.
lie. If they say, "Hey, do you have any money?" I could have my pockets could be stuffed with cash. I could have so much cash that I don't even know like what to do with it. But I always say no.
Do you
Like if
carry
someone is just
cash?
asking me on the street. Sometimes, yeah.
I never have cash on me. Like literally
Really?
never, never.
Yeah, like a lot of times I'll have cash on me. Yeah. Like
Do you
I would
like
say it's like
go?
50-50.
Do you like go to an ATM to get it, or like?
Yeah. But
Uh,
the only reason I have cash is because I would drive down to like Illinois and like buy weed. So like sometimes that'll happen, and then like I'll just like have cash or something. So,
Jesus. Well,
but yeah,
yeah.
that's the
Okay.
only reason why for that.
Okay. Yeah, I was like,
Or I guess sometimes I'll get cash, like if I know we're going to like a festival, or if I'm gonna go hang out with like a huge group of people, and I think there's a chance we might need to like split a bill or something like that. Then I literally go out of my way to go to an ATM and like get cash before I go to something like that.
there's just so many apps for that.
I know. And like I do have like I have like a good amount of the apps, but if there's like a chance that someone wants to download like any other app, like Cash App, I don't think I have Cash App. Like I don't even feel like doing that. Like I would rather literally go pay $2 and get like some cash out of a
Ugh.
machine rather than to set up yet another cash payment app. Like I have PayPal, Venmo, Facebook Pay, Google Pay.
Facebook has a payment system.
Yeah, yeah.
That's nuts.
Uh, and what
I didn't
else?
know that.
I think that's everything. Oh, and Zelle. But
Oh yeah, I
like,
guess I technically have Zelle like through Chase, or
yeah,
but I don't like have the app for them.
yeah, I got it through one of my bank accounts too.
Huh.
But yeah, I'm like, that's enough. If you don't have any of those, I'm not gonna fucking download and sign up for another fucking app. Like, I think, yeah, Cash App. That's the one I just like,
Hit
I'm not doing
hit the Cash App.
it. Like, I've seen enough.
Yeah, I
I
bought.
only deal
Yeah,
in
what do you have?
cashier's checks and money orders.
Oh no. Uh, yeah, I just got my grandmother off money orders.
Off money orders, really?
Yep.
That's too bad. We lost another one.
I've
Yeah.
never used a money
Your
order. I
numbers are
remember a couple
dwindling.
months ago, Gouda taught me how like they work. I was like, wow, interesting.
Yeah, those money orders. Gotta order up some money.
Yeah, I know about cashier's checks. Those are easy.
Yeah, I don't
Just
even
go to
have
the bank and be like, write me a check.
yeah, I don't even have checks.
You don't have checks?
I mean, technically, I'm a co-owner of the account where Danielle has checks, so like, yeah, like her checks are technically our checks, but I don't
Her
have
checks
any.
are mixed?
I don't have any checks with my name on them. Like, no, for what?
Your checks are mixed? Checks mixed?
Checks, checks mixed. Yeah, everyone I know has gone off of that system. So like I think there's only one or two people who still take checks like in our daily lives that we have to write them. Like and it's all horse related stuff. So like the vet or farrier who come to like check on the horse, like that we have to write checks for that. But other
They
than
do
that,
checks.
that's
Interesting.
it.
Okay.
That's literally it. Even the person where we board, she takes Venmo.
That's funny. It's like I think for like 90% of my customers pay us through check, but that's
That's
only because like
insane.
it costs like you pay so much money, so like eventually like Visa like charges you like 3 to 5% like per transaction, and eventually that just is not worth it. So it's like 3 to 5% of $1,000 is like 30 or $50. Like no, Is that right?
Oh,
Yeah, that is right.
for like wait for for like
Like if they
one-time
pay
purchases. Like, are they? These are I'm assuming these are customers who are like reoccurring. Like they can't like set up, or maybe you guys don't have like set it up yet, where they can like.
y- like a direct deposit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we have done that, but that's just such a pain because I gotta ask them for their bank account information, and then sometimes like they close the account and don't even tell us, and it's like I'm like, "Look, just send me a check, like." So
Ugh.
then they've all gotten used to just doing that. But there are a couple people who really, I can tell it's like
So
hard
like
for them.
so like they hand you a physical paper check.
Yeah, they mail it to us.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that
yeah,
that hurts.
they have to put it in the mail. Yeah, I feel like it can't be easy. Like,
I have
so,
like an unreasonable fear of just like at least I think it's unreasonable of like having a check in my hand for a lot of money that I haven't deposited yet and it just flying away in the wind. Like
I
every
mean,
time
like
you
if
say
anything like bad happens to it, you can go to the person who like wrote the check and ask them for another one and tell them
every
to cancel that one, which is a
every
hassle, but like
yeah, every
it wouldn't
time
be
you
the end of
say
the
the
world.
word check, I just imagine a check fly like just floating like a paper bag in the wind.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I actually just collected a check from one of my customers today, and like I was like holding on to that thing tight, like as I was walking around the job
It was
site,
tight,
like
tight, tight.
because I didn't want it to be flying away for that exact reason. Yeah,
Oh
that's funny.
God, checks. Yeah, it's just
I only deal in treasury bonds.
Treasury
mm,
bonds.
yeah,
Yeah, like
that might work.
those are worth something.
Yeah, I only
Like
deal
that's
in
basically as good as
CDs.
cash.
Yeah.
Treasury bonds.
Yeah, man.
How do you get it? Can you like get a treasury bond and like use it as like tender in some way?
Not for no.
No, but you
You have
can
to
get it
like
online. Even treasury bonds are online now.
Can you trade your own treasury bonds to someone you know?
I don't.
yeah,
You can?
you can. It takes a lot of paperwork though.
Oh,
Oh,
oh
okay.
God.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can I have $50? All right, get the paperwork out. Like,
Yeah.
damn, dude, like
Yeah, man.
that's not quite worth it.
Yeah, I almost got those T-bills, man. I almost did it like 6 or 7 months ago.
T bills?
Yeah, man.
What
It's
the hell is
like,
Yeah,
that?
those are no, I think those are nice. You should stock up.
yeah, it's basically just like you're giving money to the government and they're just guaranteeing interest. Like that's it.
It's called a T bill?
Yeah.
Is
And
this what's the T stand for?
Treasury.
treasury.
Treasure? You get some treasure?
Yeah, treasure chest.
Treasure chest?
But it's pretty crazy. It's like you basically can guarantee you're gonna be worth a certain amount if you can buy a certain amount of
Wait, so you
bond.
buy those, John?
I was considering buying it with like
Oh,
our like extra like emergency cash. But like that
I
was
mean,
part of the
like,
reason I didn't do it because
what
you
are
have
the
to.
rates on that? It can't be like
It
good.
changes.
Yeah, it changes with the interest rates like just like normal. So like that and that's why I ended up just doing a high yield savings account because that money just is more liquid. I don't have to have it tied up as like for any amount of time. I could just take it out whenever I want. But yeah, it was pretty competitive. It was like 4% when I was looking at
Holy
it.
shit, that's pretty good. 4%?
Hmm
I thought it was gonna be like 0.01%.
It was back when interest rates were low. It was low. But now the interest rates are high, it spikes. It's always going to be underneath what interest rates are, right? So like
Right.
so you're not going to like outdo inflation doing that. You're just not going to get eaten away as fast.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend's dad had like treasury bonds or whatever.
I think he told it. I think I remember you saying that before.
It was, in my opinion, it was the worst investment ever because he's like, "Hey, I have these bonds from like I bought them like when my two girls were born in like 1991." And he said that he spent like $100 each, and like now, in
They're worth $117 like
Yeah, what?
how
he made
much?
like it was like 20 years. It was like 2010 or whatever, and he's like now they're worth like 120 bucks a piece. Like it's just like, and I'm just thinking like that's not even like I don't even know what to
You
say. And
made
he's like proud
that's
of it.
1% per year. Like what?
Like, that's why I'm just like, yeah, it must be like I never considered ever buying any sort of bond ever since he told me that. I'm like, wow, a terrible
Yeah.
investment.
Are
Yeah.
you sure he
Like I
wasn't talking about like commemorative coins and like he thought they were bonds?
He got some
no, he showed me to you. It was a piece of paper
he got them
that said it was
Trump
originally worth
coins.
$100.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a certificate of authenticity.
I'm pretty sure he probably does have Trump
Yeah,
coins.
for his Trump coins.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like that. Yeah,
man.
that's definitely not an investment strategy. Like it's just a way of like
Especially for only
hedging.
$100. Like I feel like you
No.
could have spent that $100 on like you probably needed to pay some bills, like get your car paid off, something. Like you probably were in debt in some sort of way
Yeah.
where you could have more better spent that $100 than to
Yeah.
save it for 20 years and then you only made a 1% per year. Like that's so
Yeah.
bad.
It's
Like
like
that's
when
really
people get
bad.
excited about like when older people get excited about like annuities and like universal life policies. Like the only way you get guaranteed money is when you're getting fucked. Like that's the only way it's possible. That's there's just no other way.
Yeah, you'd be screwed.
Like
Yeah,
the
what kind of a deal is
they're
this?
like, man, I got this annuity and it's got this cash value, man. I'm like, but you paid like 30% more than that to them in premiums. Like there's just like how did you get excited about it? Who told you to do this?
I have no idea. Yeah,
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 annuities have never appealed to me per
yeah, man.
se.
I'm trying to get that
But I mean, maybe there's some good ones out there.
guaranteed 2%.
Yeah, I feel like you could just put all your money in Verizon and get like whatever they pay in dividends
I was
every
gonna say at least then you'll make
quarter.
2% on the stock and you'll get a dividend. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you do better. But yeah, I think the market is just scary to people. So like they tend
Yeah.
to like those type of places just tend to prey on the fear that people have and just like offer them all. Like the moment they hear guarantee, they're like, yes, sign me up. They're they're like, sir, if you give us this $100 in 20 years, 120 guaranteed.
So bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a 20-year loan at a rate of only 1% per year. Like that's
Ugh.
amazing. Like
Yeah.
that's so good
Yeah. What a world.
for the person getting the loan, not the person
Right.
paying.
Yeah. Not the person. Yeah. Not the receiver.
Yeah, that guy definitely has Trump coins though. Like I I I've never seen him since Trump's been elected, and I haven't seen him like even a few years before he was elected. But I already know, knowing his personality, that he for sure loves Trump, and he probably has Trump coins and the cards.
Jesus. Yeah, man.
He bought the mugshot and hung it up in his bathroom.
Yeah, yep. Did you hear they're gonna try and make him the new Speaker of the House since that one guy got voted out?
Mm-mm.
I didn't, but I mean,
Could you
we're
imagine
already
it?
where we are now, so
Like he's gonna be the Speaker of the House. Like, does he even know about any of that stuff? Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. In summary, don't buy don't buy annuities and definitely don't buy certificates of depreciation.
Certificate of depreciation.
Yeah, for 1% guaranteed over the course of 20 years. If you're gonna do real business, go on down to Western Union, get yourself a nice money order.
And send it to someone in India.
Yeah.
oh man.
Yep. But yeah, I think that's a good place to stop for today. This has been fun. This is, man, people, the world is wild, man. That's all I gotta say.
It's crazy out
Oh,
there,
Thanks for
as
talking about it
usual.
with us, gentlemen.
All right.
All right,
Till next time.
until next week, we'll be
That's
seeing
right.
you. Thanks for
It'll be
tuning
my
in.
turn.
bye
Yep.
bye.